Hello guys. So in this video we will look at the concept of numbers in Python. So how does number work in Python? So in other programming language you might have known this by the name of data types or what type of data we store. So here in Python we call it as Python numbers, right? And there are three types of numbers what Python can store. So those are basically integers, and then we have floating values, we call it as floating values or floating number, and then we have complex number. So these are the three types of numbers that are basically valid in Python. So let us look at this example one by one. So initially let us look at integers. So how does integer work and how do we store integer, right? So any any positive or negative whole number is known as your integer. Say for example I say x is equals to 10, which is a valid example for your integer. And then if I say y is equals to minus 10, so this is also an example for your valid integer. Also I can have any limit, there is no limit for being an integer. So these are three examples for your integers. Now in Python we have a wonderful precision advantage here, where we can have any size of your integer. So for example I create an integer with a very large value, so that is also valid in your Python. And if I check still type of x, it is still an integer. So there is no limit of your integer values, you can have any limit values. So on we have for float values. So float, as the word suggests, it has floating point value, so it has decimal points. Say for example I said 10.67, so this is an example for your float. Also this is also another example for your float values. So float values can either be in positive or it can also be in negative. So these are two good examples for your floating point numbers. The next is the complex number, where we can store the number in form of real and imaginary form. So given a number, let us give an example for this. So I have a real number 5 plus an imaginary number 7. Oops, I've made a small typo mistake. So here I'll say J. So this is an complex number. So if I print this, so you see this is in form of a complex number. And if I check the type of C, this is your complex number. So these are the various numbers that are available in Python that you can utilize for your programs.